Hello, subscribers. James Stevenson back with your weekly subscriber exclusive episode of James and Loki's Gems of the Week, the show in which Loki over here and I walk you through all the posts we liked on X over the previous week and talk about why we liked them. I am set up, I am ready to go. Let's jump straight into the content and start talking. You saw me like this tweet during the recording of last week's episode, which is why it is the last post we saw in last week's episode. From there, what have I liked? I promise there will be no coverage of the war. No war coverage during this video. If you're looking for that, go find any other outlet on X. I'll be covering stuff I liked on X over the previous week, which was not stuff about the war. Holmar's catalog posted the very next thing that I liked after recording last week's episode. He said, Tesla is not going to buy Lucid to eliminate all 3 sales they had last year. Well, it was probably more like 3,000 than 3, but 3,000 sounds like a lot and isn't. You're not going to make it if you sell 3,000 cars per year. Let me know in the comments below if you're aware of an automaker that made it. Meaning remained profitable, selling 3,000 cars per year. Ferrari probably sells more. Like they're the only one that came to mind. And they can get away with charging $3 million per car. And Lucid cannot. So he was reposting Yen Ali Bildirim Tesla. I have a specific question. There are rumors that Tesla is planning to buy the manufacturer Lucid Motors in order to eliminate a competitor. Well, if that were your justification for buying them, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission in the US, would halt the sale because that's illegal. You're not allowed to buy a competitor to limit the amount of choice customers have in the marketplace. You have to make up some other justification for buying them besides giving consumers one less option, because the Federal Trade Commission's job is to prevent the largest company in an industry from buying up everybody else to gain monopoly pricing power and then raise their prices and make even more money, and consumers would have no alternative, right? I guess maybe you could get away with doing it if it were such a low volume manufacturer. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you are a trade securities lawyer and understand that topic better than I do. Here's one from Kathy Kitchler. Mon juste is the perfect description of your X activity. Well, thank you for saying so, Kathy. You are very, very nice to compliment me thusly. And I was one of 2 people who gave you a like for saying that. I looked up the translation, and it is the exact word. Le mot juste is the exact word in French, which isn't used to mean the exact word. It's used to mean just the perfect, the optimal phrasing for how to put something. So thanks, Kathy. I appreciate you. That was me doing heart, but you couldn't see it because it was out of frame. Here's one from Mario Noffel that I liked. Probably he pronounces it Nafal or something. Let me know in the comments below if you know how to pronounce Mario's surname. Tesla dominates global EV sales in Q1 2025. Tesla took both the number 1 and number 2 spots in global EV sales by a huge margin. Model Y led with 201,773 units, followed by Model 3 at 118,964 units. No other automaker came close. And, by the way, this BYD Seagull sells for a fraction of what a Model Y or a Model 3 sell for in China. So who's buying the BYD Seagull and the Geely Geome and the Wuling Mini? You've heard me talk about the Wuling Mini before. People who can't afford to buy a Tesla is who are buying these things, right? They are settling for the vehicle they can afford. And not the case with the Xiaomi SU7. That's a serious Model 3 competitor, I think. Brian White will set me straight in the comments below if I'm misremembering that, because he knows from having seen these vehicles up close and personal in China. All right. And I have never been to China, so you're better off taking his word for it than mine. Here's one from a different Brian that I liked, Brian Feroldi. At Brian Feroldi, the worst investing mistake is to buy here and sell here, right? You think you've done great tripling your money from buying here to selling here. You say, hey, I made a 3x. It's time for me to sell now because you buy low and you sell high, right? Well, the trouble with buy low, sell high is how high is high enough to sell, right? A lot of people who buy here and sell here think they won. They think they're winning. Are you winning, son? Buy low, sell high is what you're supposed to do, right? Well, the other thing you could do, and this is what Warren Buffett does, and this is what Benjamin Graham does, this is what Ron Barron does. If you think I'm listing off incredibly successful investors, I am. You buy and then you don't sell. Now, why is that better? Because instead of getting this much money for your stock becomes worth this much. And so instead of it being a 3x, it's a 15x. That's a lot better than a 3x. It's 5 times better, unless my math is wrong. And you would rather 15x your money than 3x it. That's what Ron Barron would tell you, or Warren Buffett, or Benjamin Graham. They would say buy and hold, don't buy and sell once your money has tripled. So I replied to this, I think, saying you'll never go broke taking a profit, is the expression you'll hear people use. But you'll also never get rich, never waiting for a huge profit. That's my James Stevensonism that I came up with. You'll never get rich, never waiting for a huge profit. Don't sell here because you didn't wait for the huge profit here. That's the worst investing mistake, as highlighted by Brian Feroldi in a post that I liked. Here's the next post I liked from the aforementioned Brian White. He is at Futuraza on all platforms, brought to you by your good friends at Goodyear, probably. The future of parking. Man, would Goodyear ever love if this is the future of parking? Because your tire life will go from the usual 3 years to a year if you're lucky, if this is the way you decide you're going to park from now on. They're going to triple their revenue from you if you decide to start parking this way, leaving a fraction of an inch of rubber on the road every time. They are happy about what that foretells for your tire life. Here's another one from Holmar's catalog. He was the one guy on the team who had experience. LOL. What are we talking about here? Why would I like that? Oh, it was Omar saying, since I posted this last year, Figure has removed any mention of their leadership team from their website. So probably it's these 4 who are running Figure right now because this guy left. Jerry Pratt, the one person on the team who you could say has experience building robots, isn't on the team anymore. So he's reposting himself from Pi Day 2024, March 14th, saying, I'm told this is the team that's going to solve humanoid robotics. Do you think these 4 derps are going to solve humanoid robotics? Like, I'm not disparaging these 4 derps by calling them that. I'm telling you, if you look at teams that are successfully building robots, this ain't it. This is not the typical picture of the people who are great at robotics, and this guy left. Well, looks like their CTO left to start his own company building Persona AI, a new humanoid robotics startup. Yeah, in Pensacola, Florida. All right. Good luck, Jerry Pratt, in your Pensacola, Florida uh, humanoid robotics startup. Okay. So yeah, maybe he got tired of being the only one doing any work at Figure besides Brett Adcock's work pumping the brand. I know I sound like Tesla Q when I say stuff like that. Figure isn't gonna make it, people. They're they're not gonna make it. Uh, yeah, Star Trek dude is out. I think Warren Redlick found a photo of Jerry Pratt wearing a Starfleet Academy uniform or something. Which is not disparaging people who wear Starfleet Academy uniforms. I'm gonna hastily move on to the next thing. All right, here's Call She being reposted by Omar. Accidents per million miles per BBG intelligence. Tesla 0.15. Waymo 1.16. US average 3.9. Wow. Okay. So when will Tesla launch unsupervised FSD? Before July or before 2026? So yeah, I don't think Kalshi's terms consider it a victory condition if Tesla releases an invitation only robotaxi service, which is what's launching today in Austin. Maybe you're watching this video waiting for other people to post videos of them and their robotaxis driving around Austin. Um, you'll have plenty of time to do that. Don't stop watching the video. We got a lot more juicy content to get to. Smash that like button, everybody. But Elon got in a little bit of trouble for saying that it was easy money or something. I don't think he had read the terms before saying that. I think Kalshi excludes if it's an invitation only trial or beta. They want it to be actually open to the public for it to count as meeting their bet conditions. So don't go lose a bunch of money betting on Kalshi without reading the fine print first. Then lose all the money you want. Here's one from Elon Musk saying, cool. What was he saying cool to? Update the NHTSA. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is officially fast-tracking approvals for fully autonomous vehicles, including Tesla's Cybercab. The agency will now streamline exemptions for vehicles without steering wheels or pedals, reducing approval times from years to just months. That is cool. So there you go. There's that news in case you missed it. There's that post we saw already. Tesla FSD can operate in all conditions, said Elon Musk. They have fed it video training data from all conditions, and that's where it drives. It drives everywhere people drive. Here's Tesla boomer Papa saying, listen to this guy. He's spoken to all the experts who tell him FSD can only function in sunny weather, and Tesla is cash burning. Oh, this guy. Is this, I forget the name of this analyst from Guggenheim. Let's listen to him blather.
Stock is embedded in the robotaxis. Our issue with it is there are tremendous technical hurdles to getting there. Ultimately, the unlocking the TAM is going to be very challenging because the U.S. is not that dense. Getting the cost per mile low enough that it will displace car ownership is going to be challenging, and we think the stock is embedding something like 10% of all miles traveled being on the robotaxi network sometime between 2035 and 2040.
But when you're talking about the TAM, it doesn't sound like you'd be that much more enthused about Waymo or any other player in the space.
Yeah, we don't formally cover Waymo. I think what we see is the near-term opportunity for robotaxis, near-term being 5 years plus, is primarily going to be either supplementing or displacing rideshare, and that is a big question among investors. Is this going to be going over the top of ride-hailing, or is this going to be something that ride-hailing uses to augment their network? We don't cover the ride.
All right, I'm not showing you the whole 4 minutes of this idiot blathering because the near-term 5 years plus guy. So yeah, that guy. Here's one from Ryan's Model Y at Ryan J. Cowan. on X. My wife often sits in the back with our daughter and has been loving the rear screen on the new Y. Something I didn't know was that it shows arrival time. If you're in the back seat of a Tesla these days, it'll tell you how far away you are from arriving at your destination. That's pretty awesome. Your backseat passengers no longer have to ask, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because they can just look at the screen and tell how far away they are. That's great. That's a great innovation from your friends at Tesla. Here's one from Sawyer Merritt recapping that same list we already saw. Best-selling BEVs worldwide, January through April 2025, according to new data from EV Volumes. There you go. That is the update. Tesla is the gold medalist and the silver medalist, with BYD getting the bronze on the podium with the BYD Seagull / Dolphin Mini. Farzad retweeted Sawyer saying, more brand damage, please. Well, without the brand damage, probably Tesla could be selling more. But hey, let's not be too serious on X. Here's one from Teslarati. The fact that Tesla's robotaxis look like regular cars without crazy sensor suites makes them an almost surreal sight, like you're in the future. Yeah, there is nobody driving in the driver's seat of that Tesla Model Y robotaxi. And it doesn't need to be festooned in LiDAR. It doesn't need to look like a decorative baby's crib toy mobile, whatever the thing is that spins over a baby's head and plays nursery rhyme lullabies in music box instrumentation. You just make a regular, sweet-looking, fast car. And then you put cameras on it that point in all directions, and you use that instead of the LiDARs. Just say no to more LiDARs, or any LiDARs. Just delete LiDARs. Delete, delete, delete. Here's one from Nick Cruz Patane. 15,500 new Teslas were insured last week in China, the second highest week of 2025. That's a lot. I just said earlier, 3,000 Lucids per year isn't that many. It definitely isn't that many when 15,500 new Teslas get insured in China every week. Or last week they did. Not every single week, but some weeks. That's a lot. Man, there's that 5-to-1 ratio again. Well, it's not just a 5-to-1 ratio. It's a 5-to-1 on a 3-to-1, the same as we were just talking about with the Brian Feroldi investing returns. That's weird. Here's one from Ray at Ray4Tesla. 2 weeks later after the conversation, my friend picked up his Cybertruck. I asked him about how it was like to transition from his BMW to Tesla. He said the learning curve wasn't steep as he expected. Now he is thinking of buying Tesla stock. Yes, this is the way. This is the way, friends. Good stuff there. Another happy Tesla owner becoming a happy Tesla shareholder. Here's one from Tesla Newswire. New Model Ys. Okay, well, you don't need a whole lot of caption if what you've got is new Model Ys. Check them out. They look good. 1,100 people liked this. Did Elon reply to this or something? How did this get so many likes? So hot right now. Sure, Bugatu knows. Here's one from Yashu Sharma at Hey, it's Yashu. Breaking, Tesla Q now demanding Elon's toenail clippings. You can't make this up. This guy. I'm glad I liked this to see it again. Apparently the fanboys don't understand drug testing, says Political Reality, who apparently is very familiar with drug testing. First, ketamine can be undetectable in as little as 3 days. Second, an unsupervised urine test is worthless. To prove no drug use, Elon needs to take a supervised toe or fingernail test by a court-accredited lab. That will show use over the last 3 to 9 months and is 100% reliable. This current test is literally meaningless. No political reality. Your tweets are literally meaningless. A couple here from Sawyer Merritt. Elon on Bloomberg saying XAI is burning $1 billion per month. They don't. Also, Bloomberg is talking nonsense. Replying to Jesse Pelton saying people really have no idea what's at stake. And reposting Bloomberg's headline, Elon Musk's AI startup XAI is burning through $1 billion a month as costs pile up. That is a journalist who has never done any good business financial analysis in their life writing a headline. And I'll illustrate with the reply I left Sawyer here. He got 3,600 likes. I got 492 on my reply. Busy pizzeria replaces 40-year-old oven with new $50,000 commercial oven with 40-year warranty. Bloomberg, local pizza place burns through $50,000 per month as costs pile up. That's what they said about XAI, right? It's called an investment. Sometimes companies make investments. That doesn't mean that every week they will make the same investment. And it doesn't mean that they're burning through cash. What they're doing is they're exchanging one asset, cash, for a different asset. So in the case of the busy pizzeria, it's better for them to have a 40-year warranty on a brand new commercial rotisserie pizza oven than it is to have the $50,000 cash. If you offered that restaurant the choice between having no oven and $50,000 or a brand spanking new oven with a 40-year warranty on it that can turn out, 4 pizzas per minute for 40 years, they would rather have the pizza oven than the cash, which is why they bought the pizza oven, right? That's what they're telling you when they make that transaction. They're saying, hey, we have these assets that are worth $50,000, but what we would like even more than holding on to the $50,000 cash is to exchange it for this money-producing asset, this money-generating asset. And once we have one of those, we'll be able to make more pizzas faster for more people. We'll be able to open a pizza window. We'll make an extra $1 million per year worth of revenue with our higher capacity pizza oven at our busy, popular pizzeria. There won't be a line out the door. More people will come here. Our volume will increase. Our growth will increase. Our revenue will increase. We'll leverage the increase in revenue against our fixed cost, raising our profitability. That's the reason why you make an investment in a $50,000 pizza oven. It's to increase the profitability of your enterprise versus what it would have been if you hadn't made the transaction. Bloomberg reports that as burning through cash. Well, it's not burning through cash. It's exchanging cash for something better than cash, which is the ability to produce more cash than you otherwise would have been able to. And that's what Sawyer said. LMAO exactly to. I replied, there is no financial literacy requirement for people publishing articles on the internet, and it shows. Yeah. All right. So some of us see phrases like adjusted EBITDA, free cash flow, and DCF, and our thinky parts hurt, said Tesla _aggregate. But with great sacrifice and hard work, one day we could guest star on CNBC. They ain't lying. That is the truth. All right, here's one from Tesla that I liked. Guys, what if the taxis were robots? That is an idea that Elon Musk had about 10 years ago, maybe more. I don't like this wording, replied Tesla Optimus at Tesla _Optimus. Both of these got a lot of likes because this one was replying to this one. Optimus doesn't want to be a taxi. He would rather Tesla make a car, a robot, than to try to make a robot carry passengers around on its back, is the idea behind this joke. Here's one from Joseph F. at Joseph F23, tagging me and saying, Elon, I'm the 87-year-old substantial all-in Tesla investor who has been a lifetime terrible driver. Since I got supervised FSD on my 2017 X, anyone with me has experienced S-curve in safety and quality of driving. In fact, my son and grandson volunteered for a 5-hour road trip to Vegas to check out the Sphere and see some shows. I sat back, hands on wheel, watched the miles roll by, and all arrived rested and safe. Elon, on behalf of myself and my family, thank you for getting me from worst to first with supervised FSD at 87. What a great post that was. So I gave that one a like and a retweet. Elon didn't see either of those or react to them to my knowledge. Let me know in the comments below if you know differently. Here's one from Corey Sr. at TSWRA 2002, tagging me, can I get a chart of the cumulative amount of tacos sold since Q1 2018? Thanks. With the telephone number here for Loki's Tacos. That appears to be a Huntsville, Alabama area code. Or nearby parts. I would guess Huntsville from the size of that parking lot, though. So good stuff there. From Corey Sr., here's one from Walter McVeigh. None of these vehicles are moving, which means the grid is being used to support the gas consumption more than the electricity consumption during gridlock, not to mention every kilometer traveled is 90% more energy efficient by the BEV versus the fossil after they begin moving again. What are we talking about here? It is this FUD from Ryan Garrettson, at Ryan Garrettson. This is not even a kilometer worth of cars and trucks stuck on Highway 401, and our insane government thinks that it's possible for this to be all electric, and they will all just magically plug in each night with no issues to our grid capacity. Okay, this is not someone who understands the duck curve of electricity utilization. This person doesn't know that most people charge their EVs overnight on a trickle charger when demand for energy is at its lowest point of the day in the overnight hours. This person doesn't know that all of these combustion engine vehicles shown in the photo are 40% energy efficient or less because they lose most of the energy they're producing at idle to heat. Well, especially at idle, stuck in traffic. But even under optimal conditions, combustion engines lose more than half of the energy they produce to waste heat. I replied to this, I thought, BC Barracuda said, can you imagine all EVs and this at 40 below zero? I replied, it's so hard to imagine. We have to use our imaginations because it's impossible and could never happen. Except that EVs account for 9 out of 10 new passenger car sales in Norway in 2024, where it is often 40 degrees below zero. That happens in Norway every winter. And it's a real thing. And only 8 people liked it because it was buried 2 comments deep. 2 comments deep is where likes go to die on X. Now, that wasn't always true. Years ago, you could get a lot of engagement on a reply to a reply, and you just can't anymore. It is very difficult to get seen more than one reply from the original post. Long threads were common 5 or 6 years ago. I have the screenshots, friends. I know of what I speak. Here's one from Sawyer Merritt, current head of compute at Anthropic, Corey Wang. I don't think people have realized how much this new Waymo scaling laws paper is basically an admission that Waymo was wrong, Tesla was right. In contrast to Waymo, it's clear Tesla has now internalized the bitter lesson. They threw out their legacy AV software stack a few years ago, built a 10 times larger training GPU cluster than Waymo, and have 1,000 times more cars on the road collecting training data today. And the post is unavailable, and I couldn't tell you why, but I replied to it. And I said, our followers understood this 5 days ago when I replied to Sawyer saying, Waymo in a new blog post. Well, what did he say? He said, Waymo in a new blog post, we conducted a comprehensive study using Waymo's internal data set spanning 500,000 hours of driving. It is significantly larger than any data set used in previous scaling studies in the AV domain. I'll let you read the rest of it if you want to read the rest of it. I replied, Waymo in a new blog post announced that they finally figured out what Elon Musk was trying to tell everyone 3+ years ago. They have no idea how hard FSD is. Only path to success, in my opinion, is hardcore real-world AI software with dedicated neural net inference, acceleration, systems in a chip in cars, multi-billion-dollar neural net training supercluster, and 10+ billion miles of vehicle data. Good luck, said Elon Musk 3 years ago, which I brought up when Waymo published that blog post that Corey Wang was talking about here. Same post. Same post, same take, just 5 days earlier from me and Sawyer than from Corey Wang. Here's one from Captain Eli. I can honestly say I'm not okay. The situation is not okay, and it's very important for me to point out Elon is truly helping me. On days like these, I find encouragement just thinking about the future he's planning for us. I don't know if I'm in trauma or not. I only know that today more than ever, I simply believe in Elon and want everyone to act like him to build us a future of life, not of death, wars, or distraction. I don't want business people like him. I want world leaders like him. So good stuff there from Captain Eli, who I met in Austin when I was there for the Cybertruck First Deliveries event. He flew over from Israel to attend that event. And if you're wondering why he was not okay, it was because rockets were landing in Israel. But I promised I wouldn't talk about that topic in this week's episode. So I'll move on to the next post from Tesla Europe and Middle East at Tesla Europe. FSD supervised in Berlin on its way to forage for artisanal aioli at Street Food Thursday, pending regulatory approval. Check it out. That is the Brandenburg Gate. Not to be confused with the one in the backyard of the Louvre in Paris. That's the original. And it is in Berlin where FSD is now working. So this is great. And we got confirmation in a later post that Tesla is getting close to receiving regulatory approval for FSD in Berlin, which is great news for folks who have owned FSD-compatible Teslas in Germany for a long time. It begins. Thank you, Tesla. Y'all about to get some banger content. Reposting robotaxi. The future is now. You're invited to early access of Tesla's robotaxi service in Austin, Texas. No surprise that Farzad, headquartered in Austin, Texas, was invited to the Austin, Texas early access event to try out driverless robotaxi service in Austin. That's great news. Sawyer also got it, and if you're interested in what the terms and conditions are, they're right here. You can pause and read through them if you would like. And Sawyer said Tesla gave him permission to share. So there you go. There will be a safety shenanigans chaperone riding along in the car to prevent shenanigans that would occur if Tesla were to leave people unsupervised in these robotaxis during the trial event. As Loki goes crazy, chewing on his bun in bed. Let's make sure we get the bun in the shot. The next post that I liked came from Omid Afshar at Omid. He's got a Tesla badge because he is running the show at Tesla Austin Gigafactory, I think. I'm not sure exactly how that works between him and Tom Zhu. They both have plenty of work to do, I guess. Let me know in the comments below if you understand their distribution of leadership responsibilities. Excited for our robotaxi launch this month. Driverless cars have been operating in our factories for over 2 months. Important to note that we are not using a dedicated lane for these cars. Trucks are coming with supplies and people are coming in and out of the factory all day. With video of Gigatex's production now using FSD unsupervised to deliver cars from end of line to the outbound logistics lot, over 50,000 driverless miles have been accrued between California and Texas factories so far. What's funny is I saw a post from the fraud hiding behind the fake name Brad Munkin saying, yeah, big deal, whatever. BMW does this in their factories too. Well, BMW does a different thing in their factories. What they do is install pucks throughout the inside of their factory, and then their cars being assembled can drive themselves from one part of the factory to a different part of the factory inside the factory. What they don't do is drive outside the factory, because then their puck system doesn't work anymore, because there's no more ceiling rafters to rivet your pucks to, or glue your pucks to, or however they affix pucks, to map out where the car is relative to the building, right? What Tesla is doing is letting these things drive outside, and they aren't using pucks. As you can see, they're using cameras. Maybe I'll hit this button and then keep playing. There. They're using cameras to drive around, and I didn't think you needed electronic dance music to go with your understanding that these cars are driving themselves on the highway. You can tell by looking at the roads that, yes, it drives inside the building. Yes, it drives through the Boring Company tunnel there under the highway. They did a great job telling that story of what that tunnel is doing, where it goes from and to. So those Cybertrucks are driving themselves to the outbound logistics lot, where they will be loaded onto car carriers and driven to the Tesla sales center, where their happy buyers are waiting to take delivery. So good stuff there from Tesla that I liked. Here's one from Penny2X. I'm Penny2X. I would never do that. When someone gets mad at your post, but that was the point. That's funny stuff. Good meme there. Here's one from CyberMike at CyberMikeOG. Yaman is not the nicest guy in the world. He forgot to adjust the timestamp of his picture. Copy and paste from Sawyer, fake engagement. All right, so what did Sawyer post? At 1:09 a.m., he took that screen grab, and then if you scroll up here to Futuraza saying the pecking order around here can be tricky to wrap one's head around, it's the same screenshot that Yaman Tazdavar was using with his "Wow, I wasn't expecting this." Now, you can tell me what you think Yaman intended sending this post, whether he was just trolling and expecting to be caught reusing the same screenshot everybody had already seen Sawyer post, or if you think something else was going on. I have blocked that account for 4+ years now, I think. And it's one of 2 accounts that I've encouraged my followers to also block, along with something 33, big deal, whatever that guy's name was. I made a couple of videos about his hyping Megapack profitability beyond the bounds of reasonableness. Here's one from Keys Rollins chat. Breaking. Tesla FSD might launch at the end of this year. Oh, it was Zero Sum Game 33 who I encouraged everybody to block. We found out that guy's identity, and I may have posted about it some if you care. Probably you shouldn't care. You should just block that guy and move on. Tesla FSD Supervised might launch at the end of this year in Germany. This is what I was teasing earlier. The employees have just gotten an email with information on what FSD will be capable of and when it will be available for owners this morning. It will be a level 4 system, just as what will launch in Austin 2 days from now. I've spoken to the Texas Department of Transportation yesterday, and they said they are in close contact with German authorities So this message, though still unconfirmed with public documentation, aligns perfectly with what I've heard from government officials closely tied to the subject matter. The fact that Tesla just released a video of FSD in Berlin also complements this information. The original post is in the comments. The account got it from a trustworthy source working at Tesla. So good news there. Progress. Another one from Omar that I liked. This isn't smoke and mirrors. This isn't faked and can't be faked. This is the world's most advanced self-driving AI. Driving around Manhattan to the Newark airport without a single intervention. New York is a high degree of difficulty. Driving around Manhattan is not all that easy. There's a lot of traffic there. Pedestrian traffic, bicycle traffic. Lots of one-way streets in New York City, like this one. Lots of construction everywhere. So not that easy to drive through, but I will not show you the entire 8-minute video. But it's out there for you if you want to go watch it. Here's one from Tesla North America at Tesla_NA. Get 4 more years or 50,000 miles of coverage. When your S3XY basic vehicle limited warranty runs out, Tesla extended service agreement can be canceled monthly. Available in the US. Me. Oh boy, I wonder what fortune I got in my fortune cookie. My fortune. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. They always pronounce this syllable when they call you to tell you it's a warranty instead of a warranty. Why is that? I don't understand. Is it an attention-getting? Are they trying to make you stop and think? Is that what that's about? I don't know. So somebody who understands consumer psychology, let me know. Here's one from Tesla. Tesla has been focused on investing in manufacturing and infrastructure in the U.S. since our inception. Until the beginning of the year, we had invested $44 billion of capital expenditures just in the last fiscal year alone. This includes all the factories and all the AI. In the last fiscal year alone, we did $10 billion of capital expenditure and plan to invest another $8 billion this fiscal year. This is a large number compared to this number, right? This is over its first 20 years of existence as Tesla. And this is just the most recent year. So this number is more than 1/20th of this number, right? Okay. Here's one from Josh West 247. Rebellionaire aired in the stars over Michigan at Summer Meetup 2025. Somebody has excellent drone technology to be able to light up the sky with this Rebellionaire logo. That's pretty cool. Good work by somebody. I don't know who. Here's one from Sawyer Merritt. Dead. With a screenshot of the aforementioned Yaman Tazdavar, who formerly was just Value Analyst 1. We didn't know Yaman's real name for a couple of years. The first few years, it was an anonymous account. Nobody buys a $100,000 truck to save money. Cybertruck replying $62,490, including federal tax credit, but go off, King. All right, you're not going to see me adopt this style of tweeting, but it works for the Cybertruck account to be a little irreverent in their tone. Here's one from Kim Java. At It's Kim Java, first thing I see when I land in Austin, tagging Anwar Bek Imanbayev, whose name is too long to fit in a Twitter handle, so he shortened it to Anwar Bek Iman. There you go. You got a driverless Tesla robotaxi with a Texas front plate right here. There's a passenger here. I guess that is a Tesla safety chaperone, an FSD supervised shenanigans chaperone riding in the front. At Terry Black's Barbecue, maybe, is where this was taken. That would be a popular spot for the robotaxi to take people to and from. I guess they didn't get permission to drive the robotaxis on airport property, because that was in the fine print. If you read the fine print, they won't pick you up from the airport, but if you can get from the airport to someplace else, they'll pick you up. Here's one from Gemma. That's James Dauma. Nothing like the smell of fresh cooked model weights hot out of the cluster. Yeah, the cluster is inside this building. The building looks small because it's next to this other building, but this building is the largest building in North America by square footage covered. This is not a small building. It's a large building, and look how much cooling is required because it is full of expensive NVIDIA processors that are working on crunching all of that video data being fed back to the mothership at Tesla. This is the mothership that gets fed all of that data, and it gets used as training data to make your Tesla drive itself more safely in the future. More edge and corner cases get loaded into this model for it to learn from, to see what worked and what didn't work in the case of traffic accidents, and what to do to avoid being in a car accident. That's how all Teslas will be safer driving themselves than the average human. Which has happened already. And that's the end of our video for this week. So with that, I will check back in with Loki, who has stopped wrestling his bun and has moved back over in bed. And with that, I will thank you for watching this video. Remind you to hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button yet. That's just good to do. It's a good habit to be in. Like videos that you like. Thank you to everybody who supports me. I appreciate each and every one of you. You make this channel possible, especially my two executive producers, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com, and I will see you in the next one.